Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bold You, a show that was created to help you and so many other people that you know think bigger in your life so you can play bigger, because I promise you the world needs each and every one of us playing bigger. So we can be bolder, which means we got to step out of our comfort zones. We got to do things that we don't think we can do, things that make us feel a little uncomfortable and, to be quite honest with you, scared, so we can become the best version of ourselves. And we know that we live in a world that there is a war between good and evil, and the only way evil wins is when good people like you, like me, like our incredible guest, and when just we don't do enough because we either think we can't, we're afraid to, or we tell ourselves that we're just too busy. So each week we have incredible guests that come and visit us, and they share from their hearts and from their souls what they've done in their lives to be bigger, to be bolder, so they can become the best version of themselves, but also what they do to help people like you become the best version of yourself. So I'm so excited to introduce our guest today, Miss Candace Perry. Candace, she's amazing. You're going to see some incredible pictures of what she does, but I think really at the core of who you are, you're just an incredible person who really wants to bring out the beauty within other people. So
thank you.
You are. And she's amazing. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. But I want you to kind of just share with everybody, who you are, a little bit about your story, how you got to where you are, and that amazing question, why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me here. First of all, I'm really excited to be here today, and it's just always a privilege to be around Jen. She's amazing.
You're so cool. You're so awesome. I love you.
But so I got into photography, I want to say around 2011. Originally was kind of doing the unemployment game like everybody else in 2011.
Yeah, right. You're like going, what do I want to be when I grow up? One of those things.
Well, just going through the recession, I was in marketing. That is my background, marketing, graphic design. Right. And I was like, you know what? Let me try something new. I have a friend that's a wedding photographer. Let me try wedding photography.
But you also modeled, right?
Yes.
So you knew what it was like to be on the other side of the camera.
Yeah, so I actually got into photography because I was a little frustrated when I was, as a model, I was just frustrated. I was like, I want to get some different quality pictures for people. So I got into photography because I was like, I have experience on both sides of the camera and a little graphic design. Hopefully I'll have a natural eye for it. And I was correct.
Isn't it crazy though? Because, I know this is totally similar, but not similar, where one time I've got an older sister and she is just, she's a home improvement guru. There's no real training there. She's just a home improvement guru, because you do what you do and you do what you do because you like it. So one day we decided that we were going to totally put in new floors in my kitchen. We were going to do new backsplash. We're going to do all this stuff. And my husband at the time said, what made you think you could do that? And he said, you'd never done that before. And I said, just because I've never done it doesn't mean I can't do it. So, when you have experience in something and you have a different take, like you were saying, hey, I've been on one side of the camera, you're looking at the pictures thinking, I kind of would like a different look or a different quality. Why not try it?
Right.
And you just jumped in.
Right. I just jumped in and I really fell in love. Learned I do not like weddings, but got into doing portraits for everyday women, and actually first started out as a fashion photographer after weddings.
Wow.
And so kind of like, okay, well, I did the modeling side. Let me try being actually the person taking the pictures for magazines and stuff like that. So I did some magazine work, and then I really wanted to help everyday women feel beautiful.
Well, right. So let's look at some of these pictures because, and I want to talk about your why you are doing it, what has led you to work with the normal, everyday, amazing, beautiful woman. Because I think sometimes, let's just face it, sometimes you don't feel beautiful. Sometimes you don't feel special.
Right.
Sometimes you don't feel enough. You don't feel like you're enough. So, why did you decide, hey, working with these models and doing publications and doing magazines, that's amazing, but I want to target other people. What made that shift?
Actually, for me, it was my first photo shoot that I had professionally done when I was 28. I had pictures done professionally. Actually, it was kind of my whole setup and everything. I did all the setup and had somebody else push the button, but it was my first professional photo shoot with professional hair and makeup done by a professional artist. And
where
that was
you
the
were the
first time.
person.
Yeah, when I was the first
Okay.
time. That was the first time I ever saw myself as beautiful. Just
At
seeing those
28?
pictures. 28.
Is that insane?
Yeah.
But what's crazy is I promise you right now, there's other people that can relate saying I didn't feel beautiful until I was 28, or there's people even worse that are
Right.
probably saying right now I don't feel beautiful right now. And of course you are beautiful, but it wasn't until you saw yourself photographed.
Right. Yeah, and I think sometimes you look in the mirror and you're seeing yourself in the mirror and you're like, I look okay, but I think until you see the actual picture printed, then it doesn't really click. There's not like a little brain wave that clicks off.
And listen, there is a totally different you within you when somebody that is a professional makeup artist does your makeup, when somebody who is a professional person that does hair. I mean, I will be honest with you. I remember one of my first really big professional photo shoots. It was the same way. I was like, is that me?
Right.
I mean, I'm like, hold on a second. Because people have their specialties. So when you look at people that are getting photographed on a consistent basis and you look at people that are, look how gorgeous that is.
Oh, I love it.
I
I know it's my work, but I still love it.
beautiful.
It still gives me chills looking at my work.
Do you have like her before picture?
I don't have her before picture, but I do have some other before
Okay,
photos.
let's look at some before and after pictures because I want to prove the point that we're talking about right now. And Ziggy's going to pull it up because, so you saw yourself in that picture. You're 28 years old and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really
I was like,
I'm really hot stuff.
my parents have told me I'm beautiful my whole life, but sometimes you don't really believe what your parents are saying.
Of course, because you're like, they're my parents. They have to say that.
Exactly. They're my parents. They have to say that, but I had some bullying growing up and all those kids were saying, you're not beautiful. So
Right.
that's the message that I heard.
And, and the sad thing about bullies, and I know we're going to look at some of these before and after, but the sad, I love that phrase that hurting people hurt others. Mm-hmm. So even as children, when you've got bullies and you've got people that are saying those mean things to you, they're saying those mean things to you because they're hurting on the inside. Right. But look, when you're a kid or even as an adult and somebody's saying mean things to you, it's hard to say, oh, well, they're hurting too. It's like, no, that just doesn't really mean to me.
Right.
But, that's what happens. So let's go back, Ziggy, and look at this before picture. And I want you, Candace, to explain, really kind of what your process is, how you attract people to you and the changes and transformation people have by doing business with you.
Well, I have a women's only Facebook group. So people kind of just find me on Facebook or Google and I kind of just remind them to join my Facebook group, and through there people are interested in doing a photo shoot. And
okay, so
seeing those before and after photos of other women encourages them to do it.
Okay, so can we put the link after the show?
Sure,
Can you put
yes.
the link to your Facebook group
Yes.
here
Yes.
and also on YouTube Jens Johnson, because obviously we want other people to experience this. So you're gonna, if you're interested, and I don't know why you wouldn't, go ahead and get involved and see other people's transformations.
Yes.
So they come to you
Yeah, they come to me, they get their hair and make. Well, first of all, I do a little consultation to kind of go over, because each woman's different. You know,
Right.
someone might want to be photographed in like a t-shirt and shorts, something
Right.
more comfortable. It's not always about lingerie. Boudoir is not always about lingerie. So
Okay, I think
kinda
that's
do
a really good
consultation.
point, and I almost feel like that boudoir. I mean, I'm going to say that that's what I immediately
Right,
think of is it's
right.
got to be lingerie, but
Right.
really, it's more than it's. What does that word even mean, really?
I think it means bedroom.
Okay,
So bedroom
Ziggy's
photos.
really good. Ziggy's good.
It was in the 1800s. It was a woman's sitting room that led into her bedroom.
Okay, so there you
Oh,
go.
I just learned something new.
Okay, and I mean,
thank you.
I know it's like Ziggy's on top of things. I'm serious.
I love it.
Thank you, On Air Media and Ziggy.
Yes.
But so really, it's to me, if you think about your room, it's a safe haven. It's
Right.
it's where you go to retreat. It's a place where you can be authentically who you are.
Right.
So really, what boudoir photos are, it's really who are you when you are the most comfortable, and let's make you look fabulous
Right.
in that authentic self. So, like
And
this.
sometimes we do outdoor photos too. It's kind of
There you go.
It's more about like it's kind of like bringing out your inner sexy, but in a
Right.
beautiful, tasteful way.
Exactly. I want to know what your inner sexy is. Okay. So tell us what your inner sexy is. And I'm going to have to think about that for a minute
My inner
myself.
sexy?
Yes. And I want
my
everybody
goodness.
else, if you're watching or when you share this with your friends, I want y'all to tell us what does your inner sexy mean to you? Because I really am going to have to think about that.
Yeah. So I have gotten to do finally. I've been doing boudoir for I guess about 7 years now. But I finally booked a boudoir shoot for myself. The first one last year in
And I
Austin,
saw
and
those
then this year in
pictures.
California.
Okay, so the one where you're sitting in that chair and you're outside and it looks like you're on safari and that you
Yes.
decided to just sit down.
Just
Yeah.
to take a little nap in
You're
the
like,
in the
"Hey."
California fields.
You know that movie Out of Africa? That's what it made me think of. It's like, okay, you're just in this really luxurious place and you just sat down and you just kind of like relaxed.
Yes.
But that's one of your only one. So you've done two so
I've
far?
done 2 of them. The first one I did in Austin last
Right.
year. I did kind of a dark and moody theme. So I wanted to go with different themes
Oh,
for
yeah.
each of my
Okay, I
shoots.
gotcha.
So the first one was like all about leather and black pants and things like that.
Because
again,
that was
like
your
leather
sexy,
jackets. Yeah.
that at the time. Well, right before the show started, we were talking about how I have 2 channels. One channel, and I mean like to myself, to my personality, who I am. One channel is really serious and it's all about depth, and I want to go deep with people. I want to help transform people's lives. I want to help people. We've just recently, about 10 days ago, we had a friend of ours who lost her husband at 51, completely surprised, and just really shook a bunch of our lives, and want to help her and her kids. But then my other channel is 100% crazy, silly, laughing, and like stupid. You know what I mean? So those are my 2 channels. So I would think that to me, my inner sexy would be in one
Kind
of
of
those 2
capturing
channels.
both. Yes.
How to capture listen, I'm really serious about helping people live their best life, because I know, and that's what I think is so amazing with what you're doing is if somebody gets into your orbit and your specialty is bringing out that inner confidence, because that's really what you do.
Right.
And I want you to talk about the transformations that you've had in people's lives, because it's not until people experience confidence that they really start to blossom into the people that they were meant to be. Because, they've been beat down. I mean, we've been beaten down. And what I say, what I can't stand, and it breaks my heart, is when the other people's beat down gets to you so deeply that you start to beat yourself down.
Oh, right.
So tell us about some of the transformations that you've seen in your clients.
Sure. I mean, there have been so many. I think one of the most powerful ones that I remember is a lot of my students, not my students, a lot of my clients. Well, I guess kind of a way they're
I was
students
gonna
because
say
I
they
do
could-
coach
right,
them on how to pose. But a lot of my clients come in the studio, like some of them come so nervous, they're like visibly shaking.
Right.
I've had people crying. I mean, they're just, it's a vulnerable place to be, to kind of strip down and,
Right.
and, kind of less clothes than they would normally wear. And
Right.
but just having them coming in crying maybe or shaking and then leaving like, okay, I look good, you know.
Right.
It's just it's really empowering for not only them but for me just to see that transformation.
Well, I mean, didn't you have one of your clients that after her session with you ended up losing
Oh,
like
yeah.
all this weight?
Yeah,
Did
I
we
mean,
have her before and after pictures?
I don't think we have we have a video of her. I don't think we have
Oh,
photos.
okay.
'Cause those were
we
so long ago. I
Okay,
just
well,
have a
we got to
video.
show the video of that.
All right.
Okay, we got to show the video of that because this is amazing. And did we just have one video? I can't remember because Ziggy's going to be like, which video? Is it just one?
It's of Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm a mom of 4. I'm an LPN. I work 40, 50 hours a week, if not more. Growing up, I was always self-conscious about who I was and how I looked. I always got teased because of the freckles or the red hair, or being so skinny, and then I had Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm a mom of 4. I'm an LPN. I work 40, 50 hours a week, if not more. Growing up, I was always self-conscious about who I was and how I looked. I always got teased because of the freckles or the red hair, or being so skinny, and then I had to start wearing glasses, so then that just added to it. And then being married to men who never appreciated me for me and always put me down and making me seem like I wasn't worth anything, and then I started having medical problems, and then I started gaining weight. Started putting the pounds on and always being referred to that I was fat. When there's no mirrors around, I do feel beautiful.
I've been doing this for a long time, and that means I've heard just about every excuse as to why someone can't book a boudoir shoot. It really is for every woman. You know, it's for the old, the young, the thin, the curvy. And then I usually hear, well, I'm not a model, I have no idea how to pose. And well, that's where I come in. You know, I have a background in modeling, so kind of coaching you along through the poses. You don't have to think about poses. That's what I am there for. The boudoir photography really isn't about having the perfect body, you know, it's about becoming self-aware and really learning to love who you are as a person and reinforce that beauty that I am seeing as a photographer by showing her the back of my camera throughout the shoot. So she doesn't have to wonder when she gets home, I wonder how those photos turned out. Everything we do here at Beautiful You Studios is really about you. It's about reminding you that you are beautiful no matter what anybody says. You know, we all go through some horrible things in this world, and if I can just help one person see that they're gorgeous, you know, I've done my part in making this world a better place.
That's what I said.
What'd you think, Rachel?
Gorgeous. Oh my god.
What'd you think?
Alright,
I was
I'm
amazed.
just glad that she can see it now.
I was amazed.
I know they were amazing.
That really went over.
Aww. It makes me super happy, guys.
I mean, I just think that's such an incredible transformation. And one of the things that we were talking about was, what transpired afterwards.
Yeah, so she actually sent me an email. I think I posted the Facebook comment somewhere, maybe my website, I think it is. But she actually sent like a little Facebook post saying that, since that time, she lost 86 pounds. She left an abusive marriage. She started feeling really good about herself and taking care of herself. So,
See, that's the thing that's so crazy to me is until you feel love.
Right.
And, I always say one of my specialties is creating environments of love. I mean, and that didn't come from me, that came from God. God gave me that gift to just genuinely love people. And so what I do is I create an environment of love in my industry, with my mastermind, with my business coaching and the consulting that I do. What you're doing is creating an environment of love. And until we love ourselves, we can't grow.
Right.
And when other people start to pour into you and other people start to tell you how amazing you are and how talented you are and how beautiful you are and how special you are, because you are, and you start to believe it yourself. It's only until you believe it yourself
Right.
that you start
Exactly.
to make changes.
No, I was even thinking her, that was her family in the video with her sister and her dad. And they told her she's beautiful and stuff like that. But she had men telling her, you're ugly, you're fat. And that she was married to, dating. So those were the messages that she believed until she saw those photos. And then she was like,
Yeah, she
okay,
was
they're
like-
all wrong.
She was like, hold on a second. Hold on a second. You're telling me I'm ugly and I'm looking at
Right.
myself and I'm not ugly. I'm beautiful.
Right.
I mean, and for you to be able to do that, and we were just talking at how, she was able to, was it her boyfriend or her husband?
So it was one of her husbands. She's
Yo,
Yeah.
hey, listen,
just leave it there.
we're not gonna give anybody a hard
Right, no, I
time for
won't give
having
anyone's
multiple
business here.
husbands or spouses because
and they were just all mean men, like telling her fat and ugly, So, but now that she loves herself, I'm sure she is dating really good men now.
right. And what we're seeing right now is it's actually a commercial, right? This is
Some behind the scenes footage from shoots I've done and some client testimonials. You can actually see this on my website as well.
Okay, so we definitely are going to have to make sure that we'll put that link on that and make sure everybody knows how to contact you on your website and everything like that. But I just think it's so important. To me, when I think of being bigger, you have to think bigger first.
Right.
Every action that we do starts with a belief that we have. So we have to think bigger. And I want to know from you personally, what are some of the thoughts that you've had in your life that allowed you to think bigger? And then what did those thoughts lead you to do in your life?
I would say that, that first photo shoot that I had really transformed my self-perception because I went through some bullying and stuff growing up. Had some people say, you got those buck teeth and skinny legs and freckles, and there's a lot of different comments that I heard. And once again, I didn't feel beautiful until I was my late 20s. So once I had that experience, I was like, every woman should experience this. And,
Right.
I'm just really glad God gave me the vision to do that because I think, without my faith in Jesus Christ, I wouldn't be here.
But you know what? So this is a point I make a lot, and anytime somebody else makes it, I always stop because you were given an inspiration, you were given a vision of what you could do to help other people. And then you acted upon it.
Yes.
And, there's a responsibility connected to each one of our ideas and our inspirations. And I'm going to tell you from personal experience, some ideas that I've had that I've acted on have been crazy. They have been crazy. Like I'm about to embark on, I'm just going to tell y'all something I'm about to embark on. This is hysterical. This might be the best idea that has ever come across my brain, or it could be the worst. But we just were at a conference this week, and it was the eWoman Network conference. I'm the executive managing director of the chapter here locally in Dallas. But it's a global organization, and every year there's an annual conference. We got about 1,000 entrepreneurs that come in. Well, on Saturday, I was with another one of our members, Diane Castle, who is a complete hoot, who brings out that second channel in me, the crazy, stupid one. And we were talking about how we're going to co-author a digital book first. And the name of the book is How to Succeed More. Stop Acting Like a Dumbass. Okay, that's going to be the name. We were rolling laughing so hard because, listen, we're the ones that stop ourselves from succeeding. But your ideas have a responsibility. And
Right.
what I always say is if you act upon your ideas, your visions, your inspirations, and they work, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy.
Right.
If they work, that inspiration was not from you, it was from God.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it is to use you and your gifts and your talents and your resources to help bless other people, help motivate them, inspire them to be bolder. And then if you try one of your great ideas and it flops, well, maybe that wasn't the right direction, but you'll learn along the way. So, what are some other thoughts that you've had that really have expanded your own personal perspective that has led you to do some bigger things?
I guess going back a little bit, I have actually done a lot of different things like you're talking about. Like, I think my mom, and I don't even remember this, my mom told me that when I was like 5, had like a greeting card business. So I've been entrepreneur
you
since
go.
I was like 6 years old.
There you go.
So I've tried different things, but this is a thing that I feel like God really put in my heart to do because it really empowers women.
Right.
Like a lot of things that I was doing was for selfish reasons or like, oh, this might be fun and creative, but
Right.
this is kind of a combination of everything, creativity as well as changing the world one woman at a time.
Right. Well, see, and to me, that's the difference between your own ideas and ideas that are really God-given, divine inspiration. Like you said, your ideas are usually just going to help yourself. Ideas that are really more inspired, they've got a whole different intent, and that intent is to help make this world a better place,
Right.
one person at a time.
Right.
And go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think, actually, thinking back to my senior year in college, one of my senior papers in my English communications class was about like the effect the media has on women.
Oh, I know. Listen,
And-
that's a whole
Whole
other
other tangent.
podcast.
But like I kind of remember writing back then, like, man, if we didn't have these images, if we had to be this perfect size 0 to be beautiful,
Right.
we would have way more confident women in the world. And now I'm doing something about that.
Well, you know what? And here's the thing, too. Men out there, can y'all please comment? Because men don't like size 0. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's the women who are looking at the models that they're saying, oh, yeah, size 0 looks great. But men don't like size 0. I mean, it's like a size 0 is like this pin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like you got little toothpick legs and, you get splinters from toothpicks. I mean, come on. That's not what, I don't think that's what men want anyway.
Well, I mean, I do try to remind women that, some women can't gain weight. So there are some women that are just naturally skinny. So I try
Right.
to make everyone feel beautiful
That's
regardless
right. That's
of their
right.
size.
See,
but-
Candace, she's more politically correct than
No,
I am.
I'm not trying to be politically correct. I mean, I actually do believe that because a lot of women come to me like, there's 2 spectrums. I either have the girls are like, I'm too skinny, or I have the girls are like, I'm too curvy. And
Right.
so I want every woman to feel beautiful regardless of their size.
That's exactly right. That's what I was going to say is we've got to feel great within
Right.
our own skin and realize that no matter where we are,
Right.
that's just where we are right now.
Exactly.
And nothing is permanent. Everything's temporary. One of my favorite scriptures is this too shall pass.
Yes.
And I always remind everybody this too shall pass is for the good times as well as the bad times
Right.
too. You could be experiencing the best times of your life right now. And listen, we're so blessed to have those great times and to experience those great times. And you've got to really make the most of those times. But that's not what it's going to be like all the time.
Right.
It's not going to always be great times. But
Exactly.
it's typically in the difficult times that we grow the most, that we learn the most, that our character is more defined. I know for myself personally, the last 4 months have been very difficult for me. My mother fell, she broke her hip, she fractured her femur. And I'm telling you, I'm not the same person as I was April 14th, which when all this happened. So many things have happened to me, but there are gifts and blessings in that experience. Okay, next question I want to ask you is, you've got to be bolder in your life. You've got to step out of the comfort zone. Your comfort zones are there to keep you safe, and you can't grow when you're safe. So what are some of the things that you've done that scared the hell out of you?
Oh my goodness. Starting off, I moved across country from Georgia to Texas, knowing zero people.
What inspired you to do that?
Well, I was in Savannah, Georgia for 12 years, and I just wanted to change. I was like, Savannah is a beautiful city, but I need something new in my life.
Now, is that where you grew up?
I'm a military brat, so
Okay,
I have
gotcha.
lived in a million
All
states.
over.
Just kidding, but it feels like it.
You probably have, and that was probably so hard. Moving around a lot as a kid, that is very difficult to do. So, but you're in Savannah. What made you decide to?
I mean, honestly, I prayed about it and did some research on cities that were good for young single adults, and came out here. So
Okay, and
else was on the list. And
now has it been when you made that decision? Were you just so scared? I mean, when you got in your car and you started driving this way, did you think you were crazy?
I honestly, I didn't have a lot of people suggesting this was a good idea. I have a life coach, actually. So life coaches are awesome, who encouraged me to take the leap of faith and do it. But I mean, getting in the car and making that drive, a lot of the way I was like, oh man, this is crazy. I should turn around. Like a lot of the way out.
One of the things I think that's so important about getting out of your comfort zone is it's just like anything else in life. The more you do it, the more practice you have doing it, you realize that whatever it is, everything's going to be okay.
Yep.
And I can remember even at college when, I went down to Texas State and I went there. My sister was going to school there. I mean, hello, it wasn't like I didn't know anybody, but she was basically the only person that I knew. And I remember, I'll never forget this, when my mom and my grandmother dropped me off. Of course, we put all of our stuff in my dorm room and they drove off. I sat in my dorm room and I just bawled my eyes out because I was scared. I was so scared. But after I cried my eyes out, I stood up and I just walked down the hallway and I started knocking on people's door.
Oh, wow, you're so bold.
And I just was saying, hi, I lived out, and by the end of that night, I had like 3 or 4 people in my room and we were laughing and we were having a good time. But you have to do those things that scare you. So,
I want to take some notes on that. I'm an
listen,
introvert, so
I want to know.
That's
I
awesome.
want to know what you've done that you have been so scared of. I'll tell you another thing that I did that I was so scared about. There was, I'm really big into personal development. I mean, to me, there's 3 pillars of development. There's personal development, professional development, and legacy development, and I usually call it philanthropic development, but it's really legacy development. We weren't sent to this earth just to have a good time. We weren't sent to this earth to just have obstacles. We were sent here to this earth to create, and we were sent here to this earth to leave a legacy. So, it's very important that we develop ourselves, and you're going to have to pay people, you're going to have to pay organizations. And I remember one of the programs that I did was so much money. It was ridiculous. I mean, it really was ridiculous. I don't even know why my husband decided to go along with me, but he did because, of course, he has faith in me. But it's almost like sometimes I will do something so big and bold that costs so much money that there's no way I'll quit on it, because if I quit on it, I mean, not only is my husband going to kill me, but I'll kill myself. I'll be like, are you crazy? But that's really what motivates me to do bold moves. And then the other thing is
investments. Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, tell me if you think this way, but and I want to know if you think this as well. But another thing I think about, because I am a faith-based person, I think about that if there's a person out there I'm supposed to help, and if there's an idea that I was given that I didn't attempt to see through, that one day I'll be on the other side and basically, it's like, hold on, Jens, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And that feeling of responsibility drives me. to always just keep going and blowing and doing. And believe me, when there's times when I'm bawling my eyes out, and there are times, I mean,
Yeah.
the last 4 months, I say at any given time, at any given moment, I can just bawl my eyes out. I mean, seriously, that's how the last 4 months have been for me.
Oh my goodness.
But I have to keep going. I have to keep going. So, do you feel that same way?
Which part? The crying part? Or-
Yeah, all of it. All of it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. There's definitely times you really have to just push through your emotions and
Right.
get it done, get the work done.
But
God's
do you
given
feel
you
like
a
you've
mission.
got a
so-
responsibility?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I have a responsibility
Right.
to keep it going. If I wasn't doing this, God maybe would give me something else to do, but I feel like He really gave me this to do. So
Right.
I've got to do it.
And listen, you're doing this right now, but this is preparing you for your next step.
Exactly.
And your next calling and your next responsibility. But we all do have a responsibility to make this world a better place.
Right.
I believe that with all my heart.
I agree.
I believe it with all my heart. And if you agree with me, let me know. And if you don't agree with me, let me know that as well. Because I mean, this is something that I think about. So, of course, the reason that you're doing what you're doing, the reason that I do what I do is because I really do want to help people become the best version of themselves. So, to you, what do you believe your expertise and specialty? What's that little piece of that puzzle of making people become the best version of themselves for you?
I think what really aids me as a photographer actually is my modeling background, because I actually people come in, they're like, I can't even do selfies. How am I going to do boudoir photos, which
I
is
can't do
posing I've
selfies
never
either.
done. So because I have a modeling background, I just show them exactly what to do. Like I usually demonstrate the pose first, and then they copy me, and
So
away
what
we
are
go.
some tips? What are some tips?
Well, of course,
Okay, so
sitting
we're
up
gonna do
straight.
it together. Sit up straight.
What else can we think of? Also,
Hey,
well,
listen,
boudoir
is
hard
it
we
true
can't really
that you
do
should
boudoir
stick
in a
your
chair, but-
is it true that you should stick your chin out?
So yes,
that true?
helping with double chin on your neck. So you don't
it's like-
want to tuck your head like this,
Right,
but you want to push your head. It's kind of called like a turtleneck, so
Okay.
forward and then down,
Okay, so
and then you
now-
get a little
little
for the double
twist.
chin.
Okay. Now I want to know about your hands. So
Hands.
should the hands be fingers together or apart, or does it matter?
Boudoir is a little different.
Okay.
You kind of want to think of like gentle, like fingers apart, hands,
Right.
and
Just kinda like
maybe like if you were
tickling.
doing like a little like I'm looking down and I'm sitting all on the bed looking cute. You might kind of separate the fingers like
I
this
want
and look
Bruce
down.
Pulver, who is from Georgia, who's watching. I want him to do this too. Okay, so Bruce, let us know what you think.
And I guess another tip that's helpful to is kind of pushing your hips back away from the camera is always good for slimming, because a lot of women want to slim.
Oh, I didn't know that little tip. So push them
So like
back.
I have it's hard to demonstrate sitting
Right,
down,
because
but
you're
I have
sitting down.
curvy. I
Hips.
have curvy hips, so when I want to look slimmer, I push the hips back away from the camera.
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna have to
And
show us that.
also another one is the camera. If you're more worried about looking slimmer as well, putting the camera higher above
Okay,
you.
now listen. Every female
Every
I
woman knows
know-
that one, probably.
Every female I know knows this one right,
Right.
here. Okay, but some of the men don't. How many times like you'll be somewhere and you'll say, "Hey, will you take a picture?" And they
Oh, yeah,
like
and they're like right
this,
on
and
your
you're like higher, higher.
No, it's true.
I mean, listen, we can all relate to that.
And those are some basic tips. Of course, during a boudoir shoot, there's a lot of back arches and things. We can't really demonstrate in a chair here,
right.
but
doing the back arch, is that a good thing?
I mean, it looks okay. So I will not lie here. The back arch hurts, and
Oh,
I didn't
it
know this.
does.
So I did my boudoir shoot as well,
Okay,
and that's
so
another
if it's
good
not
thing.
hurting
Is,
folks, you're not doing it right.
exactly. So it hurts, but if it's not hurting, it's not going to look as great.
Right,
so.
and you want it to look great.
And you want it to look great. So it's a little bit of pain. Everyone kind of the boudoir shoot says, it's like a little workout, but
But it's
once
you're
it's
gonna love it.
over, they're amazed at the photos. And
Well, okay. Every week, to the best of our ability, we have an Ask Jen's question. And listen, for our viewers, for the people that know us and love us, we want to know your questions. For the people that just stumble across us, we want to know your questions too. We also want to know if there's somebody that you know, or maybe it be yourself, that you would like to appear on the show. Please please reach out to me. Reach out to me on the Jens Johnson YouTube channel. Reach out to me. My email address is Jens, my name, G as in George, ENS, at jensjohnson.com. I actually have a couple people that have reached out to me, and I'm so excited about getting them scheduled. I've got this one guy, Scott, who reached out to me and said he's cured himself from diabetes, arthritis. There's something else just by his diet and his attitude, and I'm so excited to connect with him. So please let us know. But we want to know your questions. You can either send them in written, you can send a video, whatever it is. But to the best of our ability, every week we try to match it up with our topic or an answer that I think would apply to our topic as well. So here's our Ask Jen's question for this week. What can I do to feel better about myself? The number one thing I think you can do to feel better about yourself is surround yourself with people that are good, that love you, that are going to pour into you. Second thing I think you should do is really sincerely seek out some professional help, like someone like Candace, a photographer who can take beautiful pictures of you, who can prove to you through that lens and through photos that you are not even beautiful, but that you're amazing, that you have confidence, and that there's nothing that you can't do. I really do think sometimes that it's easier to feel that improvement when you do something external, because at the end of the day, beauty really is your inner self.
Right.
But let's face it, it takes time sometimes for you to, and it takes work for you to feel that inner beauty. But if we can do a shift on the outside, that's really a lot of times where it starts.
It's kind of an instantaneous makeover in a way, like not just the makeover, but it's just instantaneous mindset shift. And then once you have that instantaneous mindset shift, you can kind of go through the counseling and stuff like that to help with all the deeper things that I can't help with.
Right, definitely. And one of the things I've got, one of my clients, she said, Jens, you're a mindset master. And I'm really going to totally run with that, because it really is. Success happens in your mind, your confidence begins in your mind, your happiness begins in your mind. And I'm gonna run with that, mindset master. What do you think,
like that.
Candace?
That's
What do
great.
y'all think, mindset master? I'm
that.
digging that.
And I think mindset is everything of confidence.
It's everything. It really is. So I am so excited, Candace. And listen, I'm totally putting her on the spot because I have not planned this whatsoever, but it just popped into my head. So do you have any special offer for anybody that watches the podcast? If they watch the podcast, if they reach out to you and they say, Candace, you're amazing, I love what you're about, and I want more information, and I watch the podcast, do they get anything special?
Yeah, actually, so I am actually about to run a $99 special. Normally, my session fee is $250, which includes the hair, the makeup, the photo shoot, 2 hours of photography, unlimited outfit changes. But if you're watching this show right now, it's $99. You can redeem that by commenting on Jen's video, and I will inbox you with more information. Or you can go to my website and fill out the contact form, which is www.beautifulYouStudios.com, and let me know that you heard about it from Jen, so I can give her a little gift for telling me about you guys.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Because both of us, at the core of who we are, we sincerely want to help people be bigger, be bolder, so you can become the best version of you. We know that the world needs you playing as big as you possibly can, and we want to help you do that so you can bless the world with your gifts, your talents, and your greatness. So until we meet again next Monday at 2 p.m. Central, be big, be bold, and most importantly, be you. Bye-bye.